back again with Bowling Over 50. My name is Alan Berger. This YouTube channel is designed for bowlers over 50 years old, beginning bowlers who are just coming into the sport and want to learn and get better, and intermediate bowlers that are looking for small little nuggets to help them improve. Today we're going to be talking about terms in bowling and how they apply about how you roll the ball. So today we're going to be talking about hand positions and terminology and kind of get you guys up to speed when it comes to how you do things on the lane and what people are talking about when they're saying some of this stuff. The first thing we're going to talk about is rolling the ball. Now, when I've talked about rolling the ball in the past, it's basically rolling the ball off your hand. And that's kind of the key point. But the term rolling the ball means trying to get the ball to roll end over end without any axis rotation. Now we're going to get into the word axis rotation. If you had zero axis rotation, meaning the axis of the bowling ball in which the ball is rotating around, that's what you're looking for, that's where the term comes from. There's an axis on the bowling ball that you are rolling the ball around. And where that axis is in relation to the lane is your axis rotation. So if you were at zero axis rotation, that means the axis of the bowling ball is parallel to the foul line and parallel to the pins. It's rolling forward. Your axis is on either side of the ball and the ball is rolling forward. If you are going to do a 15-degree axis rotation, your axis will be at a 15-degree angle from the pins or from the foul line. 30, 40, 90 would mean your axis rotation, the axis of the bowling ball is one side is pointing at the pins and the other side is pointing at you, and the ball is spinning this way, and that would be 90 degrees. So 0 would be the axis through here on the ball, and the ball is just rolling end over end, rolling straight. 90, the axis would be this way, and the ball would be rolling this way and not towards the pins. So we've talked about entry angle in some of our other videos, and so where all of this comes into play is getting your ball on the correct entry angle to go through the pins correctly. That angle is from the pins at 5 to 7 degrees. I use 6 because it's right in the middle, but from 5 to 7 degrees, you are pretty close to striking. 6 might be a perfect strike, I don't know, but somewhere between 5 and 7 is what you're looking at. I get the angle a little confused sometimes. If it's a shallower angle, it would be 3 or 4%. If it was a deeper angle, it would be 8 or 9%. So we're first going to talk about rolling the ball. Now, I have a very hard time without flattening out my hand of rolling at a 90-degree angle. So everything I'm going to do and show you today is going to have a little axis rotation. It might be just 5 degrees, 10 degrees, 15 degrees, but I'm going to try to show you what rolling the ball. So when somebody says I'm rolling the ball, that means they're trying to be up the back of the ball with zero axis rotation. So let's take a look and see what that looks like, if I can do it. Been talking too much? So I'm going to move. When you do this, the ball doesn't hook quite as much. So we're going to try to get up the back of this ball and roll it. So that's rolling the ball. You heard it clip the fingers and the thumb when it first came off my hand. The ball has a little natural hook in it. I did have some axis rotation on it. I think it was probably maybe 3 or 4 degrees. Pretty good job of rolling the ball. When you would want to roll the ball, rolling the ball makes the ball hook a little bit earlier. gets into a roll towards the pins earlier. So it hooks earlier and rolls towards the pins earlier. You would use this if the lanes are very, very wet, but you can play the gutter. And so you're rolling the ball, and so when it gets off the end of the pattern, it barely sees it and rolls into the pins. Long patterns, if I have a long, heavy oil pattern with a big ball, a big solid ball, I might roll the ball from the inside part of the lane, trying to roll it end over end to get it to hook a little bit earlier, but not be so violent down lane. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. So here we go, rolling the ball. I'm just gonna roll it. I'm gonna try to get as close to zero as I possibly can. My hand is just up the back of the ball. I'm not coming around the ball any. I'm just trying to be letting the ball roll off my hand straight. That was a little in. Missed a little left. I had my hand in it kind of funky. So when you're rolling the ball, you're here and then you're just lifting. I think of lifting my palm to the sky just kind of like I do with my spare ball, but instead of breaking my wrist down here and lifting with the palm of my hand up towards the sky, I'm actually trying to break my wrist at the bottom and get the ball to spin off my hand. All right, we're in a practice session. Always got to try to pick up your spares. I'm going to really try to pick this one up. Why not? Here we go. That was close. That was very, very close. Okay, so let's try to roll the ball again. Again, I would use this heavier oil patterns with a big ball. That way it's not going to be so violent down lane. It's rolling end over end. It's kind of already in its happy place. So it's not going to overhook at the back of the lane. If I'm playing the gutter, like I just did there, that would be a good place for an end over end heavy rolling ball. I'm going to try to pick this spare up again. The difference in my spare ball release and a heavy end over end rolly ball is with my spare ball, my fingers are above the equator and I'm just kind of pushing it down. When I'm rolling the ball, I'm still doing this, but I've got my palm up, so I am releasing the ball down on the lane. Okay, one more time. I want to see one good. I don't use this technique very often, not in a house shot. On a spark shot, yes. That's pretty good. Oh, give me that. When you do roll the ball, up the back of the ball, trying to get to zero, you will leave a lot of corner pins because the ball gets into its own roll a little bit faster. Oh my goodness. Okay, that was my shoulder. I'm gonna need shoulder surgery sometime soon. All right, so the next thing is a normal release for me. And I try not to be so rolly because corner pins kind of get stuck when you're rolling the ball. So I try to have a little access rotation. And so the way I do my access rotation is I don't go crazy with it. All I do is I turn my wrist just barely. This right here is up the back, and then that is about a 30-degree access rotation. So my hand will be coming around the ball and not up the back of the ball. That gives it a little side spin. That side spin gets down the lane a little bit further, skids further, and then when it does hit dry, it's being rolled by me towards the pins, so the angle at the back tends to be a little sharper. A rolly ball is very smooth. One with a little access rotation tends to be a little sharper move towards the pins. About a 10 pin. That was a flat 10 too. I thought the ball got down the lane a little bit too far. I might have thrown it a little hard. All right, we'll try that again. So that was a flat 10. A lot of people think you would move right off of that to try to get a little sharper angle into the pins. I am not. I want this ball to see a little bit more oil. So I'm going to make a board move to the left. Keep my eyes the same, but I am going to slow the ball down a little bit. This is 30 degrees of axis rotation, changing where the axis is in the bowling ball. Got it to the gutter a little faster. Bad shot. Bad shot. Let's pick this up though. What do you say? Okay, so again, we're talking about axis rotation, and the axis being the axis of the bowling ball, the way you turn it. So 0, the axis would be right through the smack dab middle of the ball, and it's rolling towards the pins. 90 degrees, the axis will be here and here, and it's rolling away from the pins or parallel to the foul line or parallel to the pins. I'm trying to show you a 30-degree angle, which is kind of my standard. That is not so much axis rotation that it gets too far down the lane and doesn't have time to hook, and more than a really smooth up the back rolly type ball. Come on, Alan, let's throw a good shot here. There we go. So from the one that was rolly, you can see it gradually go towards the pins. The one with a 30-degree axis rotation went down the lane further and then jumped really far left, or really hard left. For me, anyway. Not doing a very good job picking up my spares today. Still not doing a very good job, but I got it. Okay, so I am going to show you one more hand position. Well, no, we're not going to go to 45. I'm going to keep it at 30, but what I am going to show you is a couple of other tricks to help you. So when I put my hands in the ball, my index finger and my pinky finger are out wide. This makes the ball very stable in my hands. I can feel like I can control it better. Does make doing axis rotation a little bit more difficult. So if you need just a little bit more, and you've already gone to 30%, 30 degrees, and you don't want to go any further, because either A, it hurts, or you're just not comfortable, your next solution is to go to 30, but then bring your pinky finger towards the palm of your hand. Instead of being out like this, bring it in just a little bit. That will give you a little extra help in getting around the ball. So again, my normal is here, 30 degrees, and my normal, and then right here, I'm just going to bring that pinky finger in, tuck it in close to my hand, which will give this ball, make it a little easier for me to rotate the ball. Now, one of the things I do know about myself is that when I do tuck the pinky in, I tend to want to miss left. So I'm going to guard against that on this first shot. Still got a 10 pin, and that was a wrap 10. I thought by maybe tucking that pinky in that I would get that 10 pin out, but I did not. So the last shot I threw is I threw it with my pinky tucked in, instead of my normal. Again, my normal is here. I'm going to tuck that pinky in. We're going to see if we can't throw a better shot. We've wrapped 10 twice in a row. So we are going to make a move back to the right. And I'm going to move my eyes a little bit to the right as well and see if that doesn't solve our problem. But you got to hit it first. Well, I guess I did. So that, by just tucking your pinky in, that helps you get around it a little easier, makes the release a little easier, makes getting the bigger angles. If you end up going to 45 degrees, by tucking that pinky in, it makes it a little easier for you to get around the ball. There is one more step above that. If you are still not getting the angle that you want, and you have gone from here to 30, tucked your pinky, the next thing is to bend the pinky. I rarely do this, but it is another trick in my arsenal. By bending that pinky finger down, you're resting the ball more on your index finger, and it helps you get around it even more. When I do this, my typical miss is right, so I'm going to guard against that. But I'm going to tuck that pinky in, still 30 degrees of rotation. Hit the exact same spot at the arrows. I hit the exact same spot down lane, but you see how much more angle that got me by just tucking in that pinky finger. Oh, I like this rail. I have trouble with the rail. Let's throw it. 3-6-10, my nemesis. Maybe not today. All right, one more time. I've showed you my normal, 30 degrees. Finger in, now tucked pinky. Tucked pinky gives me a little bit more angle. If you're looking for more angle, this is one way to do it. But you got to practice it, because there are misses that I have when I do it this way. That's going to break. See how much more hook there is when you tuck that pinky in? That's if you like that kind of thing, which I don't. I am a guy that likes things a little bit smoother, not so angular, but if I have to, if it is a necessity for me to hook the ball and to get some angle on it, I will go to the tucked pinky. We're going back to the regular. Whoop, got to pick up my spare. Let's pick it up with this. Here we go. Perfect. Normally I wouldn't hook at that. Normally I'd throw straight at it. But I had the other ball in my hand, so why not? So this one will be more normal with my fingers spread, so I can feel the ball in the palm of my hand. I'm just going to let it roll off my hand at about a 30-degree axis rotation. So it's 30 degrees from the pins. To get the 10 out, instead of turning the ball, I'm just going to slow it down just a little bit. Like that. So in this video, we've showed you up the back, rolling the ball. Typically done with bigger balls when you want to be able to control what's going on at the back end of the lane, and you don't want the ball to be herky-jerky off the end of the pattern. Sometimes you need a little bit more angle. Tuck your pinky in. That'll give you a little bit more angular down lane. And if you need a lot more angle down lane, tuck your pinky in That will rest the ball more on this finger. You'll feel the ball more on this finger, and it'll help you rotate the ball. So those are hand positions, changing hand positions, why you would want to do them. One of the things I do want you guys to realize and understand, that the lane, to read it more professionally, to look at what you're doing and throwing balls more advanced, you need to stop looking at the lane from right to left. You need to be looking at the lane front to back. What does that mean? Where is the ball? How far is the ball skidding down the lane? Where is the ball starting to hook? At what point on the lane and what area on the lane is the ball starting to hook? And then finally, where is the ball rolling? Is it rolling a couple of feet before the pins? Is it not rolling at all? Or is it rolling 3 or 4 or 5 feet from the pins and not having any power? So by changing your hand position, you can combat those things that you're seeing on the lanes front to back, not right to left. So that's bowling over 50. If you like what we're doing and you're enjoying this content, please like and subscribe to our channel. We could really use the help. Also, make sure if you want jerseys like this, or if you're looking for bowling t-shirts, go to icegear.shop and you can get all your ice gear apparel, including ice gear chamois. So that's bowling over 50 for today. Thank you very much. Have fun and good bowling.